talking about two of the new calculation functions, and those are first the get LiveTextAsJSON. The first one of those looks at the basically it's an extension of the get live text function, which came out in 1905 and really wasn't on my radar until I started looking at this. But the point is, it reads container data and extracts text data from it. So the original get live text function would return this kind of text. So it's just reading the text off the image, and it's even grabbing here this image flip. It's even grabbing this little logo down here in the corner of the meme. But it isn't perfect. For instance, it's missing a space here between these words. And so I started playing with this. And so get live text as JSON, what it does is it then returns all this formatted as JSON. And it adds the coordinates of each text block. Mm. And my thought on the use of this is, at least my initial thought, I'm sure somebody will come up with things I haven't thought of, but my thought on the initial use of this would be to be able to get form data that's being presented as an image and being able to parse a form by identifying, okay, I'm expecting this data at these coordinates, that data at those other coordinates, and being able to parse that kind of data.
Can you go ahead and zoom in a little bit more on your screen there?
So I played with a number of things to try to get what kind of limitations it had. So for example, on the new certification, it pulls the text very nicely, all the spaces and everything. As JSON, it identifies what those coordinates are. But I threw in a number of different things. Here's the image for this meeting, and it grabs it very nicely. Claire's FileMaker Pro, but it doesn't have a space in between in the middle of FileMaker Pro. 2024 reads just fine. Our favorite features. It's missing the open parenthesis, but it catches the closed parenthesis. So I haven't found a pattern to some of this yet, but I think some of this is interesting to look at. Tilda Swinton in FileMaker Pro, the motion picture. Again, we're missing a space here. I think it's obvious in the meme. Again, it caught the image flip icon there. This is just a desktop icon for an Excel file. I do not know what it's reading that is pulling ES2 off of.
The icon on the far left.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. It's capturing that. It's not getting all of the word import. It is getting all these digits here very neatly. So.
The reason it didn't get the T in import is because that character is a ligature.
Yeah.
Good point.
Okay.
Wait. What? Explain.
The R is connected to the T.
Oh, it's just connected. Okay, there you go. All right. It appears connected.
Seems to have, and unsurprisingly, seems to have a little more trouble with handwriting. So, for instance, I'm not sure where this is coming from. I'm sorry, this is not the top of the field. There we go. So IO, it's reading I-10 as IO. Things that take talent, and it's adding an extra L. Of course, the person doing the writing was writing in all capital, mostly capital letters. And so it looks really weird when you put it out. It captures the 100%, but it didn't capture the 0. At first I thought maybe the red text made a difference, but it doesn't seem to. And so it has some trouble reading handwriting, probably more trouble than you or I would have.
This looks like how a dog would spell those words.
A pug dog. All right. This is just an old infographic that I've had hanging around for some time. I think it does a reasonably good job with this. But again, it's apparently translated it's missed a character here. What was that, Doc?
Qualification.
I don't know that word.
It's there. It's how it interpreted qualification.
Oh, okay.
Or misinterpreted would be more accurate.
There will be lots of opportunities to mock its errors. I wondered, could it read a coin? It seems to have difficulty with curved text. It got the 2020 very nicely. But other than that, it seems to have some real difficulties with curved text.
What about the text on that one?
That's what I'm saying.
No. You're looking at the JSON, but it seemed like the text would result in. Okay, gotcha.
It had no clue what to do with my logo. Not very surprising. That's very custom calligraphy.
It's just question mark.
Did reasonably well with this this poster. It identified this as a trademark symbol, but it was just a circular element there. Likewise, it identified this one as an O. And where I'm blocking the text, it's doing its best to interpret what it can see. See, I've got this partial M here, and it identified it as an R. That seems pretty reasonable. So I think it's doing a reasonably good job for the most part. But there are places where it's weaker than others. This is an embroidery my wife made, and the text in this is in Latin. And still, it's done a reasonably good job of capturing the letters that are on here, even though it's they're very irregular. It's not a font. It's not even handwriting. It's embroidery. So I thought that was an interesting level of success there. It's another infographic. I noticed that here where it says the past and the future as void space in that bar, didn't seem able to read that at all. So if this is something that you want to be using on a regular basis, you're going to want to have an idea of what some of the limitations are.
YMMV.
Yeah. Your mileage may vary.
Question, Paul. So the get live text function has some very specific operating system and version requirements to it. And I'm looking at the help, and the answer is not obvious. Do you think get live text JSON is the exact same requirements?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think the only thing is it's now pulling out the JSON, the coordinates, and then formatting the output as JSON.
So it's worth calling out then for everybody in the room virtually and whatnot that effectively this is an iOS, iPad OS, Mac OS thing because it is dependent on Apple's embedded text recognition methodology.
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
Paul, have you tried a PDF?
I have, and I've got a couple here at the end. But I thought I would try this. Made a valiant attempt at the harmonic logo. But it had no problem with the text underneath, and that's just reading off a photograph of a t-shirt. So I thought that was pretty good. The Claris FileMaker certified developer. Oddly, it couldn't read FileMaker. It's got the 17, but it couldn't read FileMaker, and it didn't put the space in certified developer. Here it got FileMaker, but not quite.
Baker.
I also noticed it reads from top to bottom and then from left to right. So it's going down and then down again. I noticed with amusement it identified the blue check mark as an E. Otherwise, it reads tweets just fine.
Oh dear.
Some of this is weird on purpose. This is actually in the image. That's an actual correct quotation right here.
I love that. What's interesting is it seems to return ASCII characters, and when it had acrylic characters like in the slide before, those just got converted to the closest ASCII.
Yeah. It cannot handle very much in the way of cursive. I think the one word it got on this one is Congress.
The one that's nearly in print.
Yeah.
Nice to know it's just as poor at reading cursive as the rest of the
It's
younger generation.
It's also not good with calligraphy, although this is not the most clear image. But again, it has difficulty with both calligraphy and curved text. So I would have expected maybe to get Tempelhof Central Airport, but it didn't. It did get my name, mostly. And that's, pretty much in calligraphy here. This is not a very clear image at this size, but yeah, it didn't do very well with very much of this either, even though that's not calligraphy. Tried some corporate logos. Yeah, kind of got the simplest stuff. It's at an angle, and so that may have caused a problem here. This one it did pretty well with. This is another handwriting experiment, and it didn't go great. Got that. It got the name Inigo Montoya though. That kind of surprised me. This is an embroidered banner. Did pretty well with that. No clue about this logo. This one, it did great on this comic strip. It's doing top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom in this text. Okay. Fred is giving me the wind it up signal here.
Does this work calculation on server if you do perform script on server?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer. Steve is looking at the spec right now.
I mean, obviously, it'd be if you had a Mac as your server, but all the more reason to call it if you've got like Windows or whatever.
Mm-hmm. This one it reads perfectly, and I think part of that is the way that the text is organized from top to bottom. These last two are PDFs, and it doesn't seem able to read them at all. I was not able to find anything that specified what file format it's looking for. It just said container data, but I haven't yet found a PDF that it would read.
I tried inserting a PDF as using insert picture,
Yeah.
and it made no difference. But I found that the Monkey Bread plugin apparently can do that. I haven't tested it yet.
Can't say I'm very surprised. So in the calculation itself, it's just a very simple thing. Get LiveTextAsJSON, specify the source of the container data, and then specify the language you want it to return, or the language you want it to be looking for.
Oh, I was going to ask you that. I didn't know that was one of the parameters.
That's one of the parameters.
That's part of iOS 18 coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the get live text is the exact same parameters. It just doesn't return JSON.
It appears to be Pro and Go only right now, not server.
Okay. See, Steve says not on server. The other thing I'm going to show you very quickly, because I'm 5 minutes or 7 minutes over time, is JSONMakeArray, where we take a list and turn it into a JSON array. So this is simply a list of names, and it returns it as a JSON array. I took the extra step of formatting it.
You took my idea. I was going to. Second favorite.
Yeah. So
Yeah, how many of us have had to write whiles doing all those things?
I was just going to say to do this otherwise, you need a while statement, maybe a custom function. So now it's native. That's what I've got to show. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. I'm out.